The Keeper's Son was published on a Tuesday in late spring, almost exactly 2 years after Elias had first left the Lighthouse. The launch event was held at Margaret's bookstore, which was packed with people, friends, fellow writers, curious readers, and, to Elias's surprise and joy, his father. Thomas had made the journey from the coastal town, looking healthier and happier than ever. He sat in the front row as Elias read from his novel, and when Elias glanced up during the reading, he saw tears streaming down his father's face. After the reading, people lined up for signed copies. Each person who came through the line had something to say, how the story had moved them, how they'd recognized their own families and his characters, how they'd felt less alone after reading it. A middle-aged woman told him she'd been estranged from her own father for years, but the book had inspired her to reach out. A young man said he'd been struggling with whether to leave his hometown, and the novel had helped him find the courage to make a change. Each interaction reinforced what Elias had learned. Stories matter. They connect us, heal us, help us understand ourselves and each other. Writing wasn't just about self-expression, it was about building bridges between isolated souls, about saying, "I see you, I understand, you're not alone." Later that night, after everyone had left and the bookstore was closed, Elias sat with his father and Margaret, drinking wine and celebrating. They talked about the journey that had brought them to this moment, all the struggles and setbacks, all the small victories that had seemed insignificant at the time but had led here. "I need to tell you something," Thomas said, looking at his son. "When I was in the hospital after the heart attack, I had a lot of time to think. And I realized that my greatest fear wasn't dying. It was dying knowing that I'd wasted my life, that I'd let grief turn me into something I wasn't, that I'd failed as a father. But tonight, watching you share your story with the world, seeing the person you've become, I don't have that fear anymore. You broke the cycle, Elias. You took our pain and transformed it into something beautiful. You saved both of us." Elias reached across the table and took his father's hand. "We saved each other, Dad. That's what families do."
The novel found its audience. It wasn't a blockbuster bestseller, but it sold steadily, earned strong reviews, and most importantly, it touched people. Elias received letters and emails from readers sharing their own stories of loss and healing, of difficult relationships with parents, of the courage it takes to build a new life. He was invited to speak at literary festivals, to teach writing workshops, to share his insights about the creative process. Each opportunity felt surreal and wonderful. He was making a living as a writer, not a wealthy living, but enough, more than enough. But the most meaningful moment came 6 months after publication, when he received a package at his apartment. Inside was a copy of his novel, well-worn and full of post-it notes marking pages. There was a letter with it, handwritten on lined paper. "Dear Mr. Thorne," it began, "I'm a lighthouse keeper on the northern coast, or I was until they automated my station last year. I've been lost since then, not knowing what to do with myself, angry at the world for making me obsolete. A friend gave me your book and told me I needed to read it. I did, and it changed something in me. I realized that I'd been holding on to the lighthouse the way your character did, using it as a shield against life, against change, against the fear of becoming someone new. Your story gave me permission to let go. I'm starting college in the fall. At 53 years old, I'm going to become a teacher. I wanted to thank you for showing me that it's never too late to choose a different path. Your book saved my life. Thank you. Sincerely, Robert Shaw." Elias read the letter 3 times, tears streaming down his face. This was why he wrote. This was the point of it all. He'd taken his pain, his struggle, his growth, and offered it to the world. And in return, the world had said, "I understand. Your story is my story too." He called his father to read him the letter. When he finished, Thomas was quiet for a moment, then said, "Your mother used to say that our lives are like stones thrown into water. The ripples spread out far beyond what we can see. You've created ripples, Elias, beautiful, healing ripples that will keep spreading long after we're gone."